Today on HandyDadTV, I'm installing these French doors to make my office quiet and private so I can work from home. Coming up. We moved into a new house in the summer of 2020, and it was great to have an office to work from home. The trouble was, it had no door. And with an open floor plan and 4 people working from home, it was impossible to be on conference calls. So I ordered a set of French doors from a local millwork place, and I got my son Tom to help me install it. I started by removing the little section of baseboard in the door opening. I also removed the adjacent piece in the hallway. But that was a pain, so I took a different approach for the rest that I'll show you later. After measuring the door, I determined that I'd only need to remove the drywall on one side of the opening, but the height was perfect. Okay, now you're going to have to push this end in. Hang on. This end has to come in down the bottom too. You know what? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Good. Look at that! Like a glove! Holy cow! Holy cow! And that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. Wow. This is unheard of. So what I forgot to do was bring shims with me. They're on the box in there, behind you. Yeah, pass them through the hole. You're gonna have to use the pry bar. But there's a way to do it without making marks that you'll see when the trim is on. I don't know how to tell you to do it. Okay, just don't pry against the white edge that we'll see. Okay. Doing great. I hope. I can't see, but I'm faithful that you're doing great. All right, we're making good progress here. See if you can pull it now. There you go. It's all right, that board's gonna break. Good. Don't worry about the staples. There you go. Nice job. Now, let me see if I can get out. Hang on to the door. Look at that, it opens. All right, now it'll fall out though if the weight is on it. Good job, thanks. Okay, let's just get some shims in the corners. Yep, push it, that's good. Push it.
It's good.
Okay. That looks perfect. Good, good, good. So the sheetrock is tight against it here. So I'm gonna have to pass you a couple of shims. Now you know how you use shims is you kind of make them like this, point to point, and the more you put, the farther out it goes. But because of that sheetrock there, you may have to just put the fat one in first and put the skinny one in and see if you could make it as tight as you can. Or I could always cut the sheetrock too. That's probably a better idea, Tom. Can you hand me the knife? Yeah.
It's screwed into the outside.
We forgot to remove the shipping screws from the door jamb.
What are you talking about?
The latch, the doorknob hardware.
Oh! No, that's the, I know what that is. I see it. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pivot.
Pivot! Shut up!
You're gonna get the screw gun. Never a dull moment. All right, it's tight against the sheetrock. Hand me that blue knife. Okay, I want you to put the skinny end in from your side. I'll put the skinny end in from my side, right here.
Okay.
All right, I see it. I think that's good. Good and tight. Now what we need to do is
Do
put
the bottoms, right?
do the bottoms, yes. What other side, here?
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to put something in. You always have to shim it somehow, because I have to nail it. They feel pretty flush, right? They look even.
Yes.
Okay, good, because that's 90% of the problem. And they look pretty tight, so when the doors latches, they'll be tight against each other, so that's good. It's such a hard part. I don't like hanging doors, but I do like quiet. All right, let me nail this down the bottom.
Might have to go back to work.
There, you don't really want to, I don't need to push it out any further, I just need it supported. I think that's good. Good, good, good. All right, let's see. It didn't fall. That's a good thing. Now, how you install molding like this is really a matter of preference. I like to put it just a little bit of a reveal so that there's enough room to get basically a piece of tape behind the hinge so that when I paint this trim, I can tape off the hinge and not get paint on it. I also use a finish nailer. This has like 2-inch or 2.5-inch nails. They go into the thick part of the wood into the stud that's next to around the window, door framing. This is a door, not a window. And then I'll come back with a brad nailer and just put it into the door jamb, and that'll make it nice and tight. Now for the bottom, I have a little different situation. Now here at the bottom, because of the way the floor was cut, if I just push this back and nail it, you're gonna see that gap. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a cheat here. And I've cut a couple of pieces of just pine to see what I could put behind it that will shim it out enough so that's not visible. And that looks good. And that's a sizable gap there, but I'll fill that with caulk and nobody will notice. So here I've got a different situation. I left this molding intact and just took off the edge so I could fit the door in. And what I did is I measured the width of my molding is 3¼ inches, so I put a line out here about 3½ inches from the edge of this door jamb. And I made a line, and now I'm gonna cut that with an oscillating multi-tool like this, which is not an easy tool to use for a finish cut, but I should have enough wiggle room that I can caulk it and nobody will notice. But I am going to protect the floor by putting a putty knife underneath it. And I'm going to try and keep the dust to a minimum. So that's really good. I got plenty of room for the trim. I got plenty of room for caulk. Now I will have to put spacers behind it to fill up that gap, but I'll take care of that. No problem. Now, if it bothers you, the fact that this has got to be caulked and the other side is going to have to be caulked so much, if that bothers you, you can actually get blocks, like 5/4 pine or something like that, cut them, or they sometimes come pre-cut to fit here, and usually they're big enough to cover over that gap. And then you just kind of have this plinth block at the bottom, and you put your trim on top of it, if you need to. It's up to you. And for the top piece, I cut one end and lay it upside down so that it's point to point over here. And then over here, I just make a little mark where I need to cut the other point. And then I'll take it outside and cut it. Now I just have to do the inside the same exact way. Quiet. Now the only thing left to do is paint it. If only it were really that easy. Now this side came out really pretty good. I cut that one even, and the floor, yeah, you could see it a little bit, but it's not that bad. On the other side, I really couldn't do anything about that. I would have had to pull the molding out too far. So I just left it. And you know what? Unless you look really closely at it, you can never tell. And from the outside, you can see where I built it out. You really can't tell at all. I caulked the back of it and put the trim up to it. Nobody would ever know. And from this side, you can see the same thing. I touched up the trim, caulked it the whole way, and down the bottom, nothing. Nothing's visible. Looks great. Alright, there you go. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Welcome home.
Be sure to subscribe and watch our new series, The Living Flip.
Ooh. And that has 1.25 inches.
It's the little one. That's all I